About 20 years ago, I came back to Malaysia as a young graduate in marine biology and religion. I was so full of energy, like any young graduate. I was inspired, and I had a great sense of conviction that I will do whatever it takes to drive positive environmental changes in this country. I was very determined, bursting with passion. So what did I do? I joined and worked for nonprofit environmental organizations and got a chance to put a lot of my theory knowledge into practice scientifically, at the same time also understand the social setting and what it takes to drive sustainable development in this country. Somehow that was not enough. I felt that I could do more. I wanted to do more. So in 2005, I started an organization called EcoKnights. And what we do is to aim to mainstream sustainability in the country and build a nation of sustainable communities. So how does EcoKnights do this? We do this in 4 ways. We deliver development interventions to reduce pollution in river and land ecosystems. We educate community on practical aspects of sustainable living, such as food waste composting, upcycling, recycling, you name it. We also work across stakeholders on policy matters and to advocate for better policy changes for the country. And we use a whole lot of creative tools. Media communication, I think, is insurmountable to communicate to the younger generation, to mobilize grassroots communities to take that leap to a more sustainable future. I was running an organization that was driven to provide both social and environmental impacts to communities. Having said so, EcoKnights was also in the forefront of creating a lot of employment opportunities and career opportunities for young, aspiring Malaysian leaders who would want to take that first trajectory in sustainable development. And to do this, I realized I had to be entrepreneurial. Running EcoKnights taught me one important lesson, that if the organization that you have set up for is to continuously pave its way, and in this age and time, to raise the next generation of eco-conscious Malaysians, it's important to sustain the operations and the people of the organization. To do good for people and the environment, EcoKnights had to do well as an organization in terms of how we run, how we harness the human potential, and how we financially stay afloat as well. We are now 15 years old, and I'm proud of where we are and what we have achieved. We have been recognized for our efforts with national and global awards and recognition, and the organization itself is expanding and creating more waves of impact. Only several years back, EcoKnights started to be recognized with a different name. We were recognized and acknowledged as a social enterprise. And suddenly, or rather accidentally, I found myself being called a social entrepreneur. What's a social entrepreneur? What's social entrepreneurship? What it is basically a profit-making business or business person that uses innovative business ideas and solutions to drive social and environmental impacts. And EcoKnights was just that, a social enterprise. Now, what defines a social enterprise? 3 things. Number 1, a very clear social and environmental vision. Number 2, a very strong and robust theory of change that helps you understand what you're trying to impact to society and environment and make you have the right tools to measure it. And thirdly, a sustainable business model. The current state of environment is throwing humanity many challenges. Growing population, deforestation, depleting natural resources, the recent river pollution you've seen down in Johor, carbon emission, gender equality, poverty, you name it. They are all real issues and challenges that we all face today. Even the United Nations has taken bold steps to encourage countries and leaders to take action of these challenges. We now have the Sustainable Development Goals, or the SDGs, which I'm sure you're familiar with, which are 17 important goals for all nations and its leaders to tackle to drive these changes. While governments are tasked to lead in the implementation of the SDGs, there is a growing private sector that can grow, scale, contribute, and enhance more positive impact for the environment and society. This sector is called social entrepreneurship. Recently, I switched hats. I founded and led EcoKnights for the last 15 years. But then again, I felt like I wanted to do more. Again. I saw the social entrepreneurship sector as a great potential, a great sector that can drive amazing business innovations that can contribute to not just the operationalization of the SDGs, but for the betterment of humanity. Right here in Malaysia, where we are right now, we have MAGIC, also known as the Malaysian Global Creative and Innovative Center for Entrepreneurs. And that's my new hat today. At MAGIC, where I represent now, I lead the department that deals with building a strong, robust, and vibrant ecosystem to allow social entrepreneurship to grow. We are also ecosystem builders for entrepreneurship, and we hope in the next years to come that we can empower more Malaysian entrepreneurs to not just do business well, but to do business for good. At MAGIC, we believe that the future of business is changing, and this will set a new norm for society and the planet. Social entrepreneurs are able to demonstrate to policymakers and other big corporations that the planet is just not about profit. It's also about driving impact and driving change. The ecosystem will be strengthened, and young social entrepreneurs will be able to trigger social transformation in their communities and therefore contribute to the sustainable development of the country. And here's what I have learned about social entrepreneurship and about being a social entrepreneur. Thing number one, you need to have clearly defined dimensions of development that you want to address. I wear my heart on my sleeve. Environment has always been my passion. And with EcoKnights, we have a very bold vision to mainstream sustainable development, mainstream sustainability for the country. And with that, it's important to draft and to craft your theory of change. In this theory of change, data is important. Data helps you measure your impact and progress. Data helps you understand if your methodology is working out well and benefiting your cause. So what I have learned is that a social entrepreneur, like any business owner or corporate leaders, need to have a very clear direction on driving change. And if possible, a formula or theory of change that can help you measure what you do and how you do it. Thing number two, social entrepreneur must have problem-solving skills. In a nutshell, social entrepreneurs are problem solvers. Be it a marginalized community or children with no access to water or education. It could be even just about protecting a rainforest or a park or a particular species. Problem solving requires you to have empathy about the world around you. And problem solving also requires you to be very clear in who and how you define who you're benefiting. Is it a group of people? Is it a degraded space? Once defined, you need to find and learn the right tools to measure and monitor your efforts. And because dimensions of sustainable development is so interdisciplinary, social entrepreneurs need to have the audacity, the boldness to cross over various fields of knowledge. Thing number three, a robust business model. Now, thing number three is the most critical part of being a social entrepreneur. And this can make or break your entrepreneurial spirit and, of course, profits. You need to find or create a business model that makes sense to you and the market and get yourself out there to first make some profit. Because you cannot depend on donations and grants to grow your impact. You need to find a way, an innovative way if possible, to financially sustain your impact. Now, what does this all mean to the future of businesses? First, look at the more traditional approach to running a business. In most cases, the core focus of traditional businesses is purely on profits. Every year, profits are expected to increase for the benefit of the company's shareholders. Over time, with the strong realization that the very business as usual is not sustainable. For every business that operates on this planet, it has a huge impact in terms of carbon emission, in terms of waste, in terms of land space, in terms of energy use. There is a need There is a need for a new consciousness to look at how traditional businesses can evolve their methodologies to one that can actually minimize its impact on people and the planet. In recent times, you may have heard of this, the emphasis on the triple Ps, profit, people, and planet. What this means is that businesses serve a higher function in society today. The evolution has started, that change has started. Not merely by just making profit, but businesses need to also ensure that the impacts of the business brings positivity to the lives of society and that of the environment. Some people call this inclusive business. Some call it responsible business. I call it social entrepreneurship. To me, this is the future of business, or at least how a business should evolve to be. That in which entrepreneurs are conscious about the world and the impact they make on the world. Now in Malaysia, there is a new reckoning about social entrepreneurship. There is also a high expectation on what this new sector can provide for the country in terms of prosperity, employment, poverty reduction, sustainably managed environments, and a vibrant and good quality of life. Now, why is the country focusing so much on growing the social entrepreneurship sector? Because social enterprises are seen as conduits or vehicles that can provide employment, reduce poverty, while improving social environmental services by stimulating the local economy. Social entrepreneurship makes you look at and address the bigger picture of humanity. And it also sparks creative business solutions in which an entrepreneur can adopt to solve an existing problem in the world while improving the state of the planet. So what are some of the exciting new things that are happening in this country that is fostering the growth of social entrepreneurship? Earlier this year, just in April, the country announced and launched the official guideline and definition of social entrepreneurship. When I started EcoKnights 15 years ago, this term didn't exist. It was only in recent times social entrepreneurship became a buzzword. But because social entrepreneurship was never a legal structure, or was never structured, it was essential for the government to look at recognizing this sector. Now, this is great news, as it means we are recognizing the efforts and roles of social entrepreneurs for sustainable development. Fortunately, this policy is a living document, which actually also symbolizes the value of social innovation and the influence of market forces on the evolution and development of business. Secondly, the government has just launched the Social Entrepreneurship Accreditation Program, which I currently lead in Magic. And what this does is allow social enterprises to be audited, to be certified as credible, accountable, and impact-driven businesses. This accreditation provides an extra edge for social entrepreneurships, as well as social entrepreneurs, as it allows them the opportunity to secure and provide procurement to government and corporate offices. In addition, the accreditation is also aimed at providing certification for corporate companies out there to procure responsibly from social enterprises. Malaysia is not short of social entrepreneurs. In fact, Malaysia is thriving with the growth of social entrepreneurs that are flourishing in this country. I grew up in a traditional family where 1 out of 5 careers was expected out of me: a doctor, an engineer, a teacher, a lawyer, and one other. But I guess I went against the grain, and I like to think I went beyond the border as well by accidentally discovering this path of becoming a social entrepreneur. I've not had a single ounce of regret because the journey has been exciting thus far. One of a very well-known, locally and globally recognized social enterprise is called TEDxYouth, a social enterprise that provides catered meals to companies or individuals for parties and events. Now, these meals are special because they're all cooked by refugees in Malaysia. And these refugees live in a state where they are not able to get any social security support from the government, which means they can't get jobs, they can't put their kids in school, they don't even have access to healthcare. Now, TEDxYouth as a social enterprise has not only become, over the years, a profitable enterprise, it has helped bring back dignity to the lives of the refugees by providing them with alternative income activities, giving them finally access to education and more. Dignity is important to people. And that through this social entrepreneurship and endeavor, TEDxYouth was able to create local economy, at the same time provide positive social impact to the refugees. Social entrepreneurs swim against the current, consistently searching for problems to solve and innovating your business approaches and solutions to ensure that their business and endeavors create positive impacts. They are the new generation of entrepreneurs making systemic changes on this planet. The next time you are frustrated with what you see around you, challenge yourself to see how you can innovate solutions that can make bigger difference in the lives of others and yours. So let's go back to the story of EcoKnights, which I started 15 years ago. What did we do that got us recognized as a social enterprise? 3 things. We had a bold, audacious vision and mission. We were going to make sure we do everything within our power to get every one of you sustainably living in this country. We knew clearly how and who we were benefiting and had a methodology. And over the years, believe it or not, managing an organization has been one of the toughest things I've ever had to do. And finding out through a lot of failures to eventually come to derive a business model that can retain talent, that can grow our financial resources, so that we are able to continue with our vision and mission and create impact. Social entrepreneurship, I believe, is a human-centric evolution against the traditional business approaches and bottom lines. This evolution will continue. As more of us will face various challenges environmentally and socially. The future of business is social entrepreneurship, and I truly believe that this form of business will drive us all towards a more habitable and beautiful planet. If you've not heard of it, it's an exciting time to figure out how you can merge your passion, your interests, and your entrepreneurial skills in this sector. And I wish you all the best, and I hope I'm looking in front of me the future of social entrepreneurs in this country. Thank you.